Most relationships don't become sexless overnight. There's no sudden decision, no dramatic argument, no clear moment where intimacy officially ends. It happens quietly, slowly, almost invisibly. Now, one day you wake up and realize that everything looks fine on the outside. You still talk, you still care, you still function as a couple, but something deeply human is missing. The touches don't linger anymore. The kisses feel polite. The desire that once pulled you toward each other now feels distant, like a memory you're not sure how to reach again. And the most dangerous part? No one is talking about it. If you've ever felt confused because your relationship feels emotionally stable but sexually empty, this video is for you. Because sexless relationships don't usually break with conflict, they fade in silence. A sexless relationship is not just about how often you have sex. It's about desire. It's about whether you feel wanted, whether you feel chosen, whether your partner still looks at you with hunger instead of habit. Many couples still share a bed, still share responsibilities, still share love, and yet feel completely disconnected on an intimate level. Life gets busy. Stress builds up. Work, children, routines, and unspoken resentment slowly take over the space where desire once lived. And instead of addressing it, couples normalize the distance. They tell themselves it's just a phase, that this is what long-term relationships look like, that intimacy will return on its own. But desire doesn't survive on hope. It survives on awareness. In this video, we are going to uncover the silent signs that your relationship may be becoming sexless, signs that most people ignore until the damage feels permanent. This is not about blaming your partner or shaming yourself. It's about understanding what's really happening beneath the surface. Before silence turns into emotional loneliness and love starts to feel like companionship instead of connection. One of the earliest signs that a relationship is becoming sexless is that physical touch is still there, but the desire inside it is gone. You may still hug each other, still sit close, still hold hands, but the touch feels automatic rather than intentional. There is no tension in it, no curiosity, no sense of wanting more. Touch becomes safe and predictable instead of exciting and charged. When this happens, intimacy quietly shifts from something you crave to something you simply perform. And over time, the body learns that touch no longer leads anywhere. Slowly, desire begins to shut down. Another silent sign appears when sex starts to feel scheduled or obligatory. Instead of happening naturally, it becomes something you plan ahead of time or mentally prepare for. One partner may initiate out of duty, while the other participates without true enthusiasm. Sex turns into a responsibility rather than an expression of desire. When this pattern continues, the emotional connection during intimacy weakens because desire cannot grow in an environment where pressure replaces longing. The more sex feels like an obligation, the more the body resists it. Many couples hide avoidance behind tiredness, stress, or lack of time. While exhaustion is real, it often becomes a convenient shield to avoid intimacy that feels emotionally uncomfortable. When I'm tired becomes the default response. What's usually happening underneath is not physical fatigue, but emotional disconnection. Intimacy requires presence, vulnerability, and energy. When emotional distance grows, the idea of closeness feels heavy rather than comforting, so avoidance slowly becomes a habit. As desire fades, emotional conversations often replace erotic ones. Couples talk about responsibilities, finances, children, routines, and future plans. But they stop talking about attraction, fantasies, or what excites them about each other. The relationship becomes emotionally functional, but erotically silent. While emotional safety increases, sexual tension disappears. Love remains, but lust quietly exits. Over time, partners begin to feel more like teammates or best friends than lovers, even though no one ever decided for it to happen that way. A particularly painful sign is when both partners stop feeling desired. Compliments disappear, flirting fades away. No one makes the other feel attractive anymore. This doesn't always show up as rejection. Sometimes it shows up as invisibility. Feeling unseen or undesired by the person you love cuts deeply, and many people carry that pain quietly rather than risk rejection by speaking up. When desire is absent, self-doubt grows, and emotional walls begin to form. Distractions often take the place of intimacy without anyone noticing. Phones in bed, endless scrolling, late-night screens, or solo habits slowly replace shared moments of closeness. These distractions are rarely the true cause of a sexless relationship, but they are powerful symptoms of avoidance. When intimacy feels emotionally unsafe or disconnected, the mind looks for easier sources of comfort and stimulation. Over time, the habit of distraction trains the body to associate the bed with distance instead of desire. Another clear sign is when initiation becomes one-sided. One partner continues to try while the other consistently avoids or shuts down. At first, the initiating partner may remain hopeful, but repeated rejection creates emotional exhaustion. Eventually, they stop trying, not because desire is gone, but because rejection hurts too much. When initiation dies, silence takes its place, and that silence often feels safer than vulnerability. Perhaps the most dangerous sign of all is when the problem is no longer discussed. Both partners sense the distance, but neither wants to open the conversation. Fear of conflict, fear of blame, or fear of hearing the truth keeps everything unspoken. Silence becomes the relationship's coping mechanism. But sexless relationships survive on avoidance, not resolution. The longer the silence lasts, the deeper the emotional gap becomes. In many long-term relationships, emotional safety grows while sexual polarity disappears. You feel comfortable, secure, and understood, but no longer desired. Desire needs mystery, difference, and tension. When everything becomes predictable and familiar, attraction can fade unless it is intentionally nurtured. This doesn't mean love is weak, it means desire has been neglected. Without awareness, couples mistake comfort for intimacy, and Dan T realize what they lost until longing turns into quiet resignation. A sexless relationship does not mean a loveless one, and it certainly does not mean your connection is beyond repair. But it does mean something important is being ignored. Desire does not disappear because love is gone. It disappears when closeness becomes automatic, and intimacy stops being intentional. The longer silence is allowed to exist, the harder it becomes to remember how to reach each other again. Awareness is the first step because you cannot change what you refuse to name. If any part of this video felt uncomfortable, personal, or familiar, that discomfort is not a warning sign, it is an invitation. An invitation to look honestly at your relationship, to have the conversation you've been avoiding, and to understand that intimacy is not something you wait for, but something you consciously rebuild. If this video helped you see your relationship more clearly, don't ignore that awareness. Start with one honest moment, whether that's a conversation, a reflection, or a decision to stop pretending everything is fine. You are not alone in this experience, even if it feels lonely right now. If you found value here, like this video so it reaches others who may be silently struggling too. Subscribe to the channel for deeper conversations on love, desire, and emotional connection. And if you're comfortable, share in the comments which signs stood out to you the most. Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to feel understood.